Is crypto the death of fiat currencies? Today I'll be telling you why I think of this thing. I'll just think of why I think of such important factors that affect life. I'm talking about. I'm kidding, but let's go into this thing before I ruin this video. First of all, we need to understand the basis of a currency, right? I don't want to just hit you up with a lot of introduction. I want to get straight to the point. So, understanding the basis of any currency is that number one, it's a medium of exchange. Right, nowadays you can buy with Bitcoin. You could buy. There was a dude who bought pizza with 10,000 Bitcoin a while ago, so it was a medium of exchange. Even now it is a medium of exchange. You can go to a place and rent out using Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. You can pay through cryptocurrencies. You can pay through you can just pay through a lot of weird and dynamics. So when you can pay through those things, whatever you're using to pay, as long as it can be transferred multiple times, it is essentially a currency, right? Its value depends on external socio-economic factors, which means, for example, if nobody bought Bitcoin when it was trading at 10 cents, nobody bought Bitcoin when it was trading at $100. Nobody bought Bitcoin if it was trading on, $3,000, $5,000, $30,000. If nobody bought it at all, it would still be on zero. If nobody believed in it, so it needs something to fund it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It needs something to fund it. When we look at fiat currencies, it was funded by economies, because let's look at the US dollar. The US dollar is rumored. I say rumored because although I understand what it means and all these things, I understand them, and I understand them deeply, to the point where I understand that a fiat currency is not supposed to be backed up by gold. It's not supposed to be backed up by oil, silver, whatever metal thing. It's backed up by an economy. It's backed up by an economy. So when you look at the US dollar, we're looking at the economy of the US. When you look at the Great British Pound, we're looking at Queen Elizabeth and everyone. We're looking at that economy. We're looking there. When we look at the Tsar, we're looking at the presidency of South Africa. We're looking at Cyril. We're looking at the what people are striking for, and etc. That 17 rand to the dollar, that 15 rand to the dollar, is an indication of how the economy South Africa is going against the dollar, or how well the dollar is doing against South Africa, and so forth and so forth. That battle between the pound and the dollar is a comparison on how well they're doing. It's a competition, it's a battle, and as traders, we make money of that battle. We make a living of that battle. We're able to do certain things because of that battle. That is the key, essential, is like the basis of everything I'm trying to say. So another thing with the basis of a currency is that it's always working, right? It's always evolving, with credits and banks and etc and so forth and so forth, where the bank would give you something and they'll charge you interest, and then the interest will be now money that is printed out. It's just such a fascinating, in-depth knowledge of finances that you get over time in the financial markets. So that's how money is printed out, and when money is printed out, it's given to the poor buy things from the rich, and it's so fascinating. And they all have a market. And I'll also be going into the market so that we can look at the technical side of cryptocurrencies, indices, fiat currencies, and stocks. I think no stocks. I forgot, but it's there. It's there. Trust me. If you don't trust me, then it's not there. For the sake of peace. So right now, the current financial affairs state that, this is my opinion, that the money was a big guy. Yeah. So as traders, we might be making more money than ever right now. It's insane. It's insane because we don't know what the future currencies will be. In 10 years from today, we don't know. We can speculate that it will be Bitcoin. It can be Doge. It can be Shiba Inu. It can be the currency. It will be but we don't know. We don't know the future. So as traders, you're going in everywhere. But at the same time, if you're going in everywhere, you need a set of skills, a tool, something that will help you. That's why I created the code of my trading system. That's why my trading system is based on, because there I have a code for everything. But at the same time, it is 68% accurate. So 68% accurate, when you're thinking of it like in terms of percentages, it's good, it's a good percentage. But long term, 10 losses can occur, and then 100 wins after that. So it's weird for me. It's weird, but yeah, back tested over 6 years, you know 68%. So just letting you guys know that part. And then this is not just a money war just between fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies, but we also have to pay attention to other forms of currencies. I mean, metaverse currencies, NFTs. Guys, NFTs have so much liquidity nowadays, literally so much liquidity. These things can turn into a currency. These things can turn into, I'll exchange this for this. Like, it's literally that powerful, and I'm seeing it now, and I'm like, wow. So I want to get in deeper, but I'm a few feet inside. I'm like, half a foot there. I'm like, but that's how I am with everywhere. I feel like if you have $10,000, invest $100 in as many places as possible, as long as you have reasons to believe that that place is going to be, because that $100 now turns into $10,000. Now you have $20,000, and etc. It's just powerful things. It's about learning. It's about seeing opportunity literally everywhere. So that's how I place my bias. Yeah. So I want to just go into my opinion of why I don't think crypto is the death of fiat currencies. I'll explain why, but let me just go deeper into explaining why, right? I don't believe crypto is the death of fiat currencies simply because we're predicting. We don't even know if the metaverse will provide significant value to the human race in the next 10 years. We don't know that. We can assume, but we don't know that. I haven't spoken to enough people to engage with me on the metaverse. It's a very tricky subject, and I really don't want to say that it's one thing and turns out to be another thing. It's simple. So first of all, now we're going to look at the charts, and we're going to see what we can. Hi, welcome back. Sorry for taking so. No, I didn't take that long. I forgot that this is just a paste on. Anyway, let me just explain. Let get back to the video, right? So, Bitcoin, right? Is the Bitcoin the death? I mean, is crypto the death of fiat currencies? If we're looking at all cryptocurrencies, we're gonna think yes, simply because no. But I've already discussed my opinion. I've already said why my opinion is no. But now I'm gonna go into depth, right? We don't know what the future holds, so I'm just gonna explain to you why I think, why I trade, how I trade Bitcoin, or invest in Bitcoin, and so forth, right? So before I place anything, before I do anything on Bitcoin, I need to focus on three things. Number one is technicals, right? The technicals for me, because Bitcoin is new, I don't depend on supply, demand, and also trend lines and so on. On Bitcoin specifically, on Ethereum and other cryptos, the ones I trade Dash, I make sure that I always pay attention to trend, momentum. Literally, those are the only two things I pay attention to: trend and momentum. They help me place trades in a very accurate, it is very accurate. It is more efficient. I mean, besides when I'm using the system, if I'm using the system, then I just look at the other factors and the system. Then it's simply just, so that's insane for me. So what I look at is, number one, technicals. Number two is fundamentals. Fundamentals, when I mean fundamentals, I mean the impact it has on society, the people, and basically anything that makes it newsworthy. Number three is Twitter. For example, when Elon Musk bought Bitcoin, if anyone remembers, when he bought Bitcoin, or Tesla bought Bitcoin, it shot up. If I remember correctly, it shot up like it just went up. It went ape, just shot up. right? So that for me symbolized a very key point, is that if a lot of it is bought by a single entity or whatever, it will shoot up. So I started paying attention to Twitter as well, right? So that's what I look at when I trade and invest in Bitcoin. The 20,000 mark was where I got in on Bitcoin. Just letting you guys know. So if Bitcoin comes back to this point, just know I'm in trouble. Not in trouble, but like, you know. And then this is for an example. I'm gonna leave to at the end so that you understand the dangers of investing in the financial markets. Right. Number two, we're looking at gold. What do we see? Right. When I'm looking at gold, number one, this was what I was seeing right now is literally the supply and demand of gold over the years. Literally. You're not seeing technical supplies no, you're seeing basically supply and demand, not only in the chart pattern way or in the market sense, or you can see it on the chart. I mean actual supply and demand. Meaning the supply at this point was a lot, but as the population grew and as people wanted to look fancy and rich, or whatever the case is, and gold was needed more, the price now started to go up, right? The fact that the dollar has also been crashing, it's also affecting this, because now the price just kept going up and up and up, and then it went down for a while, then came back. It's fighting. So what you can see on gold is that it will continue to go up because inflation and so many other things that are so very vital for gold's existence. So what are you looking at with gold, right? Number one is technicals. I cannot emphasize the importance of technicals on anything that has candlesticks or lines or bars. Anything, technicals are essential. So now that's number one. That's what we're looking at when we're looking at gold, right? Number two is its fundamentals, but not fundamentals in the sense of how it affects the people and so on. Fundamentals in the sense of who's buying, why are they buying, what is affected, is it going to be used in upcoming technology, what is gold used for? It's very tricky to understand the key concepts of gold. So what gold is going to be used for, how is it going to be used, etc. So many more, right? So that's the two things we're going to be looking at, right? And number three, we're going to look at the dollar, the economy of the dollar as a whole, because this is the US dollar versus gold. It's gold versus the US dollar. In fact, it's gold versus the US dollar. It's right here. It's Bitcoin versus the US dollar. It's gold versus the US dollar. It's the British pound versus the US dollar. It's Doge versus the US dollar. And it's the US 30 index versus the US dollar, right? So as I was saying, so this is what you see. This is exactly what you see right here. The supply was extremely high. If you're pretty sure, if we look at the news right now, we're gonna see why the supply was increasing, why the supply beat the demand, and why the demand right here caught traction and started to push to the upside, right? So right now I'm gonna be looking at fiat currencies. I was explaining on the previous draft why I believe the Great British Pound could keep pushing up, right? So what we're looking at right now is this a zone right here. It's a very significant zone. I don't want to call it a demand as of yet, right? So what we'll be paying attention to is how the market will be touching. So the market will go in here, right? But it might not even trigger. It might continue moving to the downside. So what is going to happen is going to want to wait for it to come back up, then it's going to come back down, touch an order block, touch a significant level of anything that gives it significance, right? And when it touches that level, we place our trade and then we close our eyes, meaning whatever happens, but we're always going to put a stop loss and a take profit, right? So our take profit for this trade could be anywhere, right? I suggested here and the previous high, but it could be literally anywhere as long as it satisfies your risk appetite, because some people love a 1-to-1, Some people love a 1 to 2, some people love a 1 to 3, some people love a 1 to 50. You know, it's very, it's different. It's like that for nearly all traders. You just need to find yourself when it comes to that. Dogecoin, the thing with the Dogecoin, I have done research into it, but I have no reason to believe in it. I don't feel like it's gonna help people in the long run. I don't see it, so I didn't buy Bitcoin. I mean Dogecoin, simply because of that. But because of the price is so low, I feel like I might buy like just $100 worth of, you know, Dogecoin, just for control, you know, just to be safe, just to be on the safe side of things. Because what happens if it starts to shoot up like that? What happens, right? What happens? We don't know. I'm just saying, what happens then? Right? Then finally we have the US30. This is literally the heat of the moment. This is why if you're trading here, we know if you're a good trader or a bad trader. Right here, if you're profitable here, we know. We don't have to ask you how your currency pairs to it. If you're profitable here, that means you understand risk appetite, you understand you understand a little bit more, you understand fundamentals to a certain extent, you understand, but in overall it's a bit easier simply because it has a definite direction. As you can see, if you look at on the monthly time frame, it's been going up. So if you have a big account enough, you can just place a buy right here, and literally if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. If it comes back up, you make a profit. But essentially the US30, the Nasdaq, is not for kids. I emphasize that it's not for kids simply because you need to know yourself. You need to know your market. You need to know your wallet, if it can, how many holes can you bend through it. Because I remember when I started trading, I went in because of FOMO, and I came in somewhere around here and it kicked me out, and it bent me because the first trade was a profit. I remember making a profit and I was like, yo, I almost tripled my account. I was so excited, and I didn't even wait for it to take profit, but I was so excited. So I went in again and I bought. Alright, it was profit, and I went in again and I bought. Third time I bought. I remember thinking this time, because I went like lot size 0.04 on Nasdaq. I don't even say the amount of the account because it was quite low. It wasn't that high if I think about it. The market went into profit. I was excited. The market came back down, took out everything. Right. Then over this course, I started to learn market, because I tried to buy here again, but I realized that it's going down, and I started to see why it was going down because of COVID and everything. So the downtrend was overall profitable, although I did make some losses around here, but it was overall positive. I'm not going to discuss those things, but I'm just saying, as traders, what do you call it? The three things you need to look at on this one: supply and demand, number one; structure, number two; number three is fundamentals when it comes to businesses, which means the stocks and how they are moving, and etc. The stocks, the companies that represent the US, the companies that represent the Nasdaq. So if you understand those companies, you're good. So overall, I'm gonna make another video where I simplify and I talk about in-depth strategies of everything here, right? Of everything here. If you see it here, it's gonna have a video except for Dogecoin, simply because it's a meme coin and I don't respect it, because I don't respect memes. I'm kidding, I love memes, but I don't respect Dogecoin. But I'm gonna buy it either way. But I don't respect it, because if it reaches 500, that's five. If it reaches 50 cents, that's $500. If it reaches $1, that's $1,000. Or should I go in 1,000? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Straight. Let me know. Okay, so yeah, as I was explaining to people buying Bitcoin, right? So the reason why I say, if you're gonna buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. If you're not gonna buy Bitcoin, don't buy Bitcoin. Whatever the case may be. But if you are gonna buy Bitcoin, you need to understand two things. The two things is number one, understand what you're buying into. Right? Number two, understand your risk appetite. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'll explain. Don't worry. Assuming that the price of Bitcoin is now $40,000, it's not, but assuming it is, and you take out a loan for 400,000 US dollars, you have no means of paying it back. You simply assume that Bitcoin is gonna touch 100,000 or 4 million today, because that's how the mind works, right? And you buy Bitcoin, at 400,000. So it's 40, so it's times 10 of the actual price. So you have 10 Bitcoin, right? So what happens if Bitcoin touches $80,000? You have $800,000. You can pay back your loan. You have a lot of profit, right? What happens if it touches 180? I mean, $200,000. What happens there? From 400,000 to 200,000. I mean, from 400,000 to 200,000. I mean, from 40,000 to 200,000. So that's $2 million. You literally have $2 million, right? So $2 million, that's a positive side. It looks good, right? You're thinking about taking out a loan now and buying 10 Bitcoin, right? Yeah. Sounds solid. Now, let's think of the dark side, because I don't feel like the dark side of the financial markets are spoken about enough. And I want to create an initiative where, we engage in such things, because I love the dark side of things. Not necessarily like the evil side, but like the dark side in the sense of it builds character. You know what I'm saying? It shows you who you really are. Right? So you have 400,000 worth of Bitcoin. Right? You have 10 Bitcoin. What happens if Bitcoin goes to $6,100.75? Wait, yo, what is that? What is that? Please don't make me a meme. But what happens if Bitcoin comes here at $6,175? So that's 40,000. I mean, that's 400,000 of Bitcoin. Now $61,750.50. Because now you're gonna want that 50 cents. You're not gonna care about a lot of things, and you have a loan on top of that. You've put your house on as collateral. You've done certain things. What happens then? They're gonna hodl. Yeah, some investors are gonna hodl. What happens? It reaches this when you're 59. You're gonna die with that debt. But we're all gonna die, right? But I'm just saying, how would you feel? The stress levels. Are you willing to bear those feelings? That's why I'm always saying, if you're going to something new, it's my rule for myself, but I'm telling it to you guys. If you're going into something new, one thing you should always keep in mind is that it's new for a reason. It can't be backed up by years of evidence. It literally could be just a fad. Over the years, we've bought into countless weird things, and they've all went down, and Ponzi schemes or whatever, right? So understand your risk appetite. Right now, I know if I'm gonna buy Doge, over $100 or maybe even more, right? And if it goes to zero, I'm good. Shiba Inu, the same with Shiba Inu. I bought Shiba Inu because I heard some guy saying it's Shiba Inu, what, and I was like, sounds interesting. I didn't even do much research into it, but I went in really small. I'm not gonna even tell you the amount because it's quite embarrassing. But it's literally one of my smallest investments to date, like in terms of dollar. Yeah. So what happens if you lose? That's one thing I always say. Always be okay with losing, right? So if you're okay with losing, then you understand what the market requires of you. So anyway, I'm gonna be discussing the dark side of forex in a couple of videos later. But for now, I just want to be discussing the in-depth of Bitcoin, gold, fiat currencies, and indices. So I'll catch you in the next video. Most love. Peace.